back. Today's guitar lesson is on one of my favorite players, Dimebag Darrel, and I just kind of acquired some equipment, a Zoom processor, which I'm able to do some of the effects this guy was doing way back in the 80s. I mean, and he really had them down. I know he had a guy in the back who would open up a noise gate sometimes during certain songs and add certain effects. But I mean, he was doing stuff on the Cowboys from Hell album that, I mean, I was just floored about how good it was. It wasn't just his technical ability, which was amazing. And I'm using a Zoom effects pedal, and I want to show it to you here. It's got the Zoom, excuse my feet, I should have some socks on, I guess, but I'm on setting AO and G1X on Zoom, and here's what it sounds like. Let me get you set up here just to get you some information. I've got three things on here I wanted to show you. One is the lick from Cowboys from Hell. It's 11, 12, and 15, and here's what it sounds like. Now that's with the pedal on. Here's what the original lick sounds without the pedal. Now, Darrel used those really spread out fingerings, high E string, 11, 12, and 15, and he would work those, and then he might do some Eddie Vanhalen speed picking in there. You know, all that stuff. But he did have that one lick into the solo of the Cowboys from Hell, which was... So, that's the first lick. There's my crunch sound that I'm using just exclusively with the pedal. I don't have any... And it works for me. I mean, you're playing around at your house, you know, what are you trying to break, you know, champagne glasses? And then I use the effects pedal here. It looks like a wah-wah pedal to change. And he has several solos where he starts with that D note. So you got a lot of things there you can do as far as changing keytones and stuff. And he was notorious for making these amazing screams during the shows. And I think he could do them without this pedal, but he enjoyed mixing things up. So if you're at the Eddie Vanhalen fret, I call it the second fret, and you're going to do that scream that Eddie always did. That's what it sounds like. You can do it with the pedal, and it sounds like Dimebag Darrel. And that's him opening and closing that gate of that pedal. And he did a lot of that where he would do that sound with the pinch harmonic, you know, where you're pinching the pick, and then he would spin off into a solo. I like it down here at the second fret more. You know. And then there's, you know, that's technique number 2. Doug Marks had this heavy metal kit out in the 80s. It was like a little tiny pamphlet, and he had like pinch harmonics. So, and finally, the number 3 is the E chord, which you can see. I'm getting it there. But when you open this gate, it sounds completely different. It sounds very Darrel. So he would do different chords. He would play notes like at the A blues, and it's going to transport down here, but you're down here. And then he would use that transition noise to make it sound like you had sped up the tape and you ended up somewhere in the middle of a Pantera solo. You're here. And then the sustain's amazing. And that's rocking the pedal back and forth there. And I would just be like, where is this guy? I mean, he's just off the rotation. And he was out way before Tom Morello. So, again, the Cowboys from Hell lick in the solo. And I saw him do these licks many times live, and I would just be like, how is he doing that? So that's the one, and then the second fret scream. And he would just slip off. He could always recover from these off-the-chart screams and then just go into a solo. Hear that right there? Many, many albums, that song. And then those combined harmonic riffs, you know, second note here would be 14th fret note. And of course the E chord. And that really battery-tested kind of sound. And again, I'm on setting AO, and I'm using the Zoom effects pedal. And then you can see I've got the switcher here that turns it up and turns it down. So I hope this helps, and you guys keep on jamming out there, and check out my other video about Dimebag being buried with Eddie Van Halen's guitar. You guys take care. Bye. I wanted to do a quick video today about a very interesting story that is absolutely true and interesting at the same time for rock status and rock fans of Dimebag Darrel. There's always been a question of whether he was actually buried with one of Eddie Van Halen's guitars, which was I think used to record Fair Warning or Diver Down. I think it was the Fair Warning album. They call it the Destroyer guitar, but I don't really think it was a Destroyer. It looks more like a Strat. Destroyer might not fit in the coffin, but that is absolutely true. Dimebag was buried with one of Eddie Van Halen's guitars, which is quite amazing because everybody was impressed by the fact that Eddie Van Halen came to the funeral, and there were so many people there at the funeral anyway. But you know, if you'd ever told Dimebag Darrel that when he was coming up, he would have said, you know, bury me now. So there's a book out that talks about it, written by the bass player of Pantera, which you ought to check out. And I think it's like 101 Bulletproof or something. It's named after their live album, which I read. It's pretty fascinating. That's absolutely true. Dimebag Darrel was buried with one of Eddie Van Halen's guitars, and I think Eddie's quote was, you know, he was a legend, he needs to be buried with a legend, or something like that, rock legend. And a pretty interesting spin on a pretty bad situation. And yesterday being the 10-year anniversary of Dimebag's passing, which was a terrible day for me because I got to meet Dimebag Darrel back in 1990 when he was touring with Pantera and playing the Dallas, you know, club scene. They were doing some shows in Louisiana, and they were working that little, it's not the Chitlin circuit, I don't think, but they were definitely working that circuit hard. They were literally at the basement, I can remember, every other weekend. And I had the privilege of getting to see them about 3 different times during that time, and I had never seen a show like that, and I definitely knew they were going to be huge. So anyway, that's my note for today, and hope you guys are doing well. And click and like this video and add me to your favorites, and like my channel. Thanks.